Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. Let's go see the games they were playing in November 1982.
Say Yosemite Sam?
That's a real raucous cowboy.
And, of course, there's Pepe Le Pew. He's the little French skunk. He kills the pussycat.
We were last on the Atari 2600 checking out the latest by Activision. It was fun, very fun. Let's see what our next game is. Looks like we're staying in the console world and we're going to play on the Magnavox Odyssey 2. The latest release is Smithereens. Gotta love that name. Here's the box for Smithereens. Oh, excellent box. I really like the front of the Odyssey 2 boxes. It's like this one's a mixture of, we're going to be playing something medieval, but then the neon makes it look like it's very much 80s. Well done, Smithereens. Castles crumble, trumpets blare, and this medieval artillery duel. Oh, yes. We've actually already seen this game. We played a game called Stone Sling on the Philips Video Pack in Europe. The only problem is I took that cartridge and I popped it into a console that doesn't exist yet. So if you look back on the footage of Stone Sling, the graphics look really, really good because we're playing it on the G7400, I believe. And that's why it looks so good. So the actual time for Stone Sling, this graphics might look lower or outdated compared to the other one, but it's because I just had it into the wrong console. At this point, we've played 41 games for the Philips G7000. That's the console they have in Europe, which is the European equivalent of the Odyssey 2. And this is our 42nd game we've played for the Magnavox Odyssey 2. It's one of the few consoles that I'm splitting up. We're actually playing every game for the European console and then every game in the North American console. But that's not the only time we're going to do that. When the Famicom comes out in Japan next year in 1983, we will play every game on the Famicom, and then when the Nintendo Entertainment System shows up in North America, then we're going to play every game on that system. It'll be a lot of fun. We got some screenshots on the back, and yes, it is like artillery, shooting things back and forth. You'll hear the shouts of soldiers and terrifying thunder of gigantic boulders catapulting the fortress walls. You and your opponent command huge engines of destruction, and we want to use them. Very, very cool. Let's see the other artwork we have for Smithereens. This is going to be fun. All right, so yeah, the Stone Sling game we played was way back in 1980, and here it is in North America. So for the first time you could see this game in North America. Besides the box, we got the reconstructed and the grungy look. Ah, yes, Marshall, the Odyssey will keep soldering on. It has given us great games. I just think of Casey Munchkin and Casey's Crazy Chase. Those are great. Looks like we got game modes 1, 2, and 3. This is the cartridge for the Odyssey 2. It's got a nice little handle on top. When you just can't stand the person you're playing with and want to yank the cartridge out, you can grab the handle and go for it. Yeah, there we go. And an example of the screenshot. We also have the manual. Tell us how to play Smithereens, the official rules. Medieval artillery duel. Always make sure that the power is turned off whenever you put your cartridge in, and then turn the power on. Always remember. We'll never forget because we've read so many manuals that tell us. So this is a two-player only game. If you don't have a friend, you're not going to have as much fun. I don't have a guest tonight, so I probably will not have as much fun. You press the number on the keyboard of your Odyssey 2, and you've arrived in the days of old when knights were bold. Football has yet to be invented, and castle crumbling is the most popular national sport. It's breaking down what we see on the screen, and it's pretty self-explanatory. We don't really need it too much. There's the joystick for the Odyssey 2. All we're going to be using is the joystick. You use the controller on the left-hand side or right-hand side, and you launch a boulder just moving the joystick in any direction and then letting go. So it's like you hold the joystick in one direction, and then the longer you hold it and then let it go, the farther the boulder will travel. It doesn't say anything the action button does, though, right? I think it's just the joystick. If you hit your opponent's catapult, you'll make necessary repairs. Every time a boulder strikes your opponent's castle, a section of it will disappear. So it's like we're doing artillery, and we're getting to destroy this little wall before we destroy the other person's stuff. Yeah, I'm seeing in the chat about the Odyssey 2 boxes. Yeah, very consistent. They did a different style for the box compared to the Atari and Intellivision. Intellivision was going for that way amazing oil artwork that looks like a picture on a wall. And Odyssey 2 had a different look, but it works really well. The boulder strikes your opponent's soldiers will go to the nearest off-screen first aid station. That's nice. And you can unmolested devastation until he returns. I couldn't have said it better myself. Look at this manual. They again go with great artwork as you're reading and describing the game. Look at that. They have a whole page of just a picture of the game. Well done, Odyssey 2. I love the manuals. The winner of each battle receives a number of points because you have to have points here in November 1982. The battle scores are displayed on the screen at the top, and you're just going to go for high score trying to destroy the other person's walls. Winner will celebrate with a fanfare of trumpets. What I want to know is what's the other game modes, though? Because it just said push number 1, but the cartridge said 1, 2, or 3. Oh, there we go. You can press 1, 2, or 3 with 3 available catapult tension settings. Oh, okay, so it's basically the same game. All you're doing is setting the tension setting. That's not that many game variations. Great artwork. Look at that. Nice. I love the manual. Great. Let's pop it in play. Some Smithereens. This is by Robert L. Chazim. And obviously, Philips and Magnavox Odyssey released it sometime in November 1983. So whenever you have the Odyssey 2, you have a membrane keyboard that you're using to push in to select the game you want. What you're going to do is we're going to push game mode number 1. So this is the virtual keyboard of what it kind of looks like. Ooh, and we got the voice talking to us. That's so cool. So obviously we're going to be playing a game of artillery. This is the 20th time we've played an artillery-style game on Chronologically Gaming. Some of the best ways you could play right now artillery games would be Artillery Duel on the Bally Astrocade, Artillery that's on MS-DOS, Human Cannonball that's on the Atari 2600, Artillery that's on the Atari home computer is just some examples. This one is utilizing the voice. This is the 6th game that we've seen so far on the Odyssey 2 that utilizes the voice module. Games like Type and Tell, Casey's Crazy Chase, Nimble Numbers Ned, or P.T. Barnum's Acrobats, just to name a few. And right now, Intellivision has its own IntelliVoice module. We've seen like B-17 Bomber and Bomb Squad and things like that. So video games have been talking to us quite a bit here in 1982. It's been pretty fun. Okay, here's how the game works. We have 2 people on either side. I'm going to switch myself around. So you can see on the other side we have the blue guy, and then we got the red guy on the left side. So just so you know, my shoulder's kind of obstructing, but you can understand that there's 2 people on either side. You have to have 2 joysticks plugged in, and whenever let's say I just flick the joystick. Can I even... Yeah, nothing happens when I use the action button. But if I just flick the joystick as the red guy... I just shot my catapult into my own wall. Not a very good thing. You want to hold it down, and then you want to let go, and you want to see how long you want to hold before you release your joystick. So you're essentially holding the joystick in one direction for a while, and then letting it go, and then seeing if the catapult can fling. Can we actually fling it? No. All you have to do is hold in one direction, and then let go, and then it flies. The longer you hold, will give you a different trajectory. There you go. Got a good hit that time. And I like the sound effects. It actually sounds like sound samples instead of beeper sounds that we've heard from other games. I think it's because they're using... I couldn't tell what he said. Something about doing it again. There we go. Let's do it again. And go hold it and let it fly. Nice. Yeah, I think they're using the voice module for the sound of blowing up the wall, which is awesome. So you can see red side's getting lots of points, and then blue side, obviously, because I hit my own wall, I think that's how he gets points. Yeah, you actually give the other opponent points whenever they play. Now, this is what makes this game interesting. Artillery usually is supposed to be strategy and supposed to be taking turns. This game does not take turns. This is a live game where you can just shoot nonstop. So right now, look, if I wanted to, I'm going to take both joysticks and literally just do like this. You can fire off nonstop. So it is a fast-paced game of artillery, which is kind of refreshing because most of them, you line up your shot, you aim, maybe you have the amount of power, and then your angle, and then you execute. And then the other person lines up theirs, does the angle, and then executes. This one doesn't play that way. Okay, look at this. We have a giant blue guy on the other side now, and it's showing who's... There, I heard that one. Open fire. Man, I love the voice module talking to us. It's awesome. So if you play with someone else, you will be able to play the fastest game of artillery thus far. There was another real-time artillery style games we played, but they didn't play as fast as this. Guns of Fort Defiance kind of was like that, but you didn't play against another human. It was meant to be more of a slow-paced strategy game. The other one was Artillery Duel that we played on the Coco. That was real-time artillery, but it didn't play as quick as this. You are having to gauge how long you want to hold your shot and aim, because obviously the longer you wait, they might be getting shots in. But look at that. Oh, man, I overshot that one. So I have both joysticks plugged in. I'm playing as both players, but it's just so cool. And he says mercy when you hit him. That's awesome. And then so you can get other shots in while you're waiting for them to come through. But yeah, if you make poor shots, you can hit your own walls down, which obviously is going to give the other... That's so cool that it talks to us. Yeah, right? It's kind of like artillery if it was an arcade game. It's so fun.
Turkey, hit it.
Did he say turkey? Oh man, if he said turkey, that reminds me of the Fairchild Channel F when they fired at us. Come on, turkey. Hit it. So cool. So you can try experimenting with your joystick. What's going to happen when you hold it different directions and how long you hold it to see how far it's going to fly or where it's going to fly. So it's really, really cool that they did this idea, and it's new and refreshing. When we first saw this on the Philips video pack, I already explained that I put the cartridge in the wrong console, but the graphics were amazing. They looked really, really good, and I give it a really high rating, not just for the graphics, but also for the gameplay. Being able to play a real-time artillery this fast is awesome. So you get the points for knocking down the wall, and and then this one has the voice module. Cool. So it'd be really fun to play with another person because there is no computer to play against. You have to have two people to play this game. And in a way, this game makes me think of the titles we played back in the late 70s that you had to have someone else to play with. Otherwise, you know, you were just doing what I'm doing now, using two joysticks to play around. But yeah, very, very cool artillery-style game. So of all the games you could play right now on all home consoles, this is actually very, very fun, very refreshing. I would still possibly give the nod to Artillery Duel that was on the Astrocade. That was the most refined artillery-style game we've played thus far. I mean, anywhere. Oh, look at that. We got same shot at the same time. Too cool. We're going to see this obviously later on the Philips video pack G7400, even though technically we already have kind of seen it because I, already played on the 7400. I guess I should do the video on the Stone Sling game without using the G7400 because the Philips video pack console, you can take the cartridge for one of the models like the G7000 and the game looks differently than it does on the 7400. It's like you can take the cartridge, put it in the other console, and you get enhanced features. It's kind of cool. So looking over the chat, I got some averages, 3.5 stars. And then I got a 4-star from Jeremiah. Awesome. Yeah, 4 stars is what I gave when we played Stone Sling. But again, my rating was biased because we were on the wrong console. But yeah, 3.5. 3 stars plus the voice. Yeah, the voice module does make it more fun. Yeah, I'm with you there. There you go. There's a taste of Smithereens. I don't know if I can go as high as saying of all the games you could play on all home consoles, making this a 4. It's tricky because I said 4 for Stone Sling before, but I'll say for this one, you have to have 2 people, but it is a fun time and it is unique. So I'll still say 3.5 stars of all the games you could play on all home consoles right now. Cool. All right, let's see what our next game is. More console fun. We're back on the Atari 2600. This is Sneak and Peek. Sneak and Peek. I don't know what that means. Here's the box for Sneak and Peek. It says in the top left VidTech, but this is actually another game by US Games. This game is only on the Atari 2600, and it's our 181st video game that we played on the Atari. Go, Atari, go. This is a very bizarre box. This is by US Games, and it's the 4th game we've seen by this company. They've done games like Space Jockey, Commando Raid, and Towering Inferno. This one looks about the same. It's got the grid in the back, but I'm not feeling it. Oh wait, it says ages 5 to 12. This is weird. Flip it over in the back. Someone in the chat said run. Yeah, maybe we should turn away. It says you need 2 joysticks. Sneak and Peek is a 1 and 2 player hide and seek game. What? Hide and seek on the Atari? There's 4 variations, 2 levels of difficulty. It's played around a spooky old house with a large yard and 3 weird rooms. What in the world's going on? Is this one of those games that we could attribute to the crash, the video game crash in North America? Here's the other artwork we have for Sneak and Peek. We got the original scan and then cleaned up. Old, new, fancy. Besides the box, we also have the ad. You would have seen US Games does this kind of newspaper look for their ads, but you can see in the bottom left, missing person mystery solved is what they said. The entire family caught up in a search. They're trying to get you to buy the game when they know that it's probably really bad if it's just hide and go seek. 4 different rooms and sneaky places to hide. Oh my gosh. Yes, Marshall said keep the receipt. We probably will keep the receipt on this one, but hey, we don't want to do any spoilers yet. We're going to be in the mindset that this is November 1982. We don't know anything about the game, and we're going to see what it's like. Get the first experience. That's what we do here on Chronologically Gaming. There's our Atari, and there's the cartridge, US Games, 4 different game modes. They still have that weird-looking picture of the that we saw on the front of the box, and an example of the screenshot. All right, tell us how to play. What's the manual say about Sneak and Peek? This one was designed by James Wixted Design Associates. It's the 3rd game we've seen thus far, and Gary Kitchen was involved with this game. This is the 4th game we've seen that Gary Kitchen has done so far. He did Bellhop on the Apple II, Donkey Kong on the Atari 2600, and Space Jockey, just to name the games we've seen so far. So this one, what are they gonna? If it's hide and go seek, we know how to play hide and go seek. You don't have to tell us. We know how it works. Yeah, hide and go seek game. It has 2 levels of difficulty to increase your enjoyment and test your skill. Your enjoyment. We'll see about that. So it's played around 3 weird rooms in a spooky old house. We have the living room, peek room, blue room. Each scene has 5 hiding places that makes a total of 20 hiding locations. They're in strange places. The game begins in the living room, and you walk from room to room. What in the world? With practice, you'll be able to find and remember all the hiding places. Won't that be fun when you know all the hiding places in the game? Why? Why would you want this game? Why don't just go play real hide and go seek? This makes no sense. Why? Why was this a design idea? And there's the game variations in the top left. They're giving us the rubric like they've done since the beginning of the Atari. 181 games ago. Such a long time. We played so many games on the Atari. It's been a blast. So we have the position A and position B. You can actually use the difficulty switch to play. The least difficult. Okay, so it looks like it's made for younger kids. Obviously, if you're playing hide and go seek, those poor kids. Why would you subject? I have kids. I'm not going to subject them to this game. I'm going to go play real hide and go seek. So there's. Oh, is this all the places? Oh, this is so cool. So the manual actually tells you all the places to hide. Excellent. Yes. Be sure to not look for more games from VidTech. So this one was available in Brazil, PAL regions. We're going to play the first one. This is Sneak and Peek. Gary Kitchen, Paul Wilson, published by US Games at some time in November 1982. We get some music. Oh, man. Oh, and Jeremiah is saying that Gary Kitchen was maybe listed just because he was doing other games by US Games. So maybe he had a small part in it. I'm not really sure. There we go. We're starting off. Now, this automatically goes in. I didn't have to reset the console, which is interesting. So the computer is playing. You can play single player. Those poor, lonely children that had no friends, you can play with your Atari computer. The Atari computer is counting right now. At the top of the screen, there's the counter going up. If you want to pick a hiding spot, like if I want to do an easy one, I'm moving around. And I'm actually, what in the world? Why is my... Does everyone see what my character looks like? Why is my second arm so low? What in the world? Why did they design the character like this? I feel like I'm playing Custer's Revenge. This is terrible. Well, I can go hide up here. I've given him enough time. Let's go find my spot. There we go. I hid behind the couch. And I'm playing against the computer. How is the... Oh, the computer's still counting. What a bizarre idea. How would you categorize this? What kind of game is this? I'd love to see in the chat what you would call this game. Obviously, it's hide and seek, but we really haven't played hide and seek in video games before. I'm trying to think of there was a game on the Magnavox Odyssey called Haunted House, where one person was the light of the ghost and one person was the light of the detective, which was kind of like hide and seek, maybe, but you know, the original Magnavox Odyssey, that's a stretch. This one would be the true first video game we've played that's a hide and seek video game. Finally, the computer's gonna go find me. Yeah, and what sneak and peek? Why did they call the title that? Why not call it hide and seek? They should have made it simple. Like the titles for video games we played in the 70s. They just called the game what it is. It should have just been called hide and seek. What in the world? And here they come. Yeah, so I'd call this game a life simulation game, you know, because you're playing a game that you would play in real life. Or maybe you could describe it as a puzzle or memory game, because once you've memorized all the places that you can hide, if you look at the manual, then you can just figure out where someone's hiding based on that. So I'll just categorize it like that. It's a memory game and a life simulation game. Yeah, variation 1 is the 1 player. So I'm supposed to have, is this, oh, sorry, it is 2 player. I'm using the second joystick now. The second player's been taking their sweet time. And then we both went behind the couch, and we don't know what happened. Very scary. So it is game variations, not enough. I equate part of the reason we had a video game crash in North America is because the video games just had less and less game variations. All right, let's switch it up. Oh my gosh. We'll go to game 1. All right, so now we can play as going to find the computer player. Is he back here? No. In a way, though, the game's programmed very well. This doesn't feel like I'm playing a game on the Atari 2600. It kind of feels like a game for the Atari home computer. And I say that because having a large character like this move around the screen freely gives me vibes of like a graphic adventure game, but we haven't really played a graphic adventure game that's doing this. And I almost feel like precursor to King's Quest. Like, but we're not going to see that until 84, the first King's Quest. But it's just saying that it just feels a little bizarre playing this game in the fact that I'm playing that giant character that's moving around like this. Yikes. And Gun's saying that the age group maybe needs to change. We're getting incessant music. Oh, turn the volume down. Did I find him? Come out, computer man, wherever you are. All right, so yeah, there's lots of different scenes where you can hide, and there's the different game modes, the 1-player game or 2-player game. You can have variable hiding spots or not variable hiding spots, and then game 3 has fixed hiding places, 2 variable hiding places. So this game kind of makes me think of the worst games we've played so far on home consoles. Not that I'm saying this is the worst, but it's just having me think of what's all the really bad games we've played on home consoles. Yes, isn't this terrible? Mike's Mike's here for the live show, and man, we didn't really deliver. Not every video game we're going to play is going to be the winner because we're playing everything. But now that I'm thinking of every single game we played thus far on home consoles, what really is the worst? I wouldn't put this game in the tier of the half-star rating, because we've rated games on home consoles with the half-star rating. I wouldn't say this is a half-star game. Type and Tell on the Odyssey 2 is a half-star game. Pinball on the RCA Studio 2 was a half-star game. Hunt and Score on the Atari and Custer's Revenge are half-star games. This is not a half-star game. Oh, look, you can go outside and walk around too. So I wouldn't say it's a half-star game. I actually wouldn't call this a one-star game either, because it's just bizarre that it plays very well. Like it's a good game, but just the idea of playing a hide-and-go-seek video game is not very good. Warp Lock was a one-star game that Data Age did on the Atari. This isn't a one-star game. Mind Reader for the Fairchild Channel F, that was a one-star game. Rocket Patrol on the APF MP1000 was a one-star game. And Math Grand Prix, I would say, is a one-star game. I wouldn't call this a one-star game. However, I would give this in the same tier as a 1.5-star game. This is like games like Condor Attack for the Atari 2600, or Airlock, or Ocean Battle on the Arcadia 2001, or Pac Monster that was on the Epoch Cassette Vision. I'd say this is around the 1.5-star range. Of all the games you could play on all home consoles, it's bad. It's not the best of the bad. No, it's the lower end of the bad. So looking over the chat, I actually got a 2-star from Barkley. 1.5 is Mike's throwing out for everything you could play right now on all home consoles. Yeah, 1.5. It's because if they did something better, like make this an adventure with the same controls, then yeah, this would be easily average and then even better than that. But no, because of what you're having to do, it's boring. It's not fun. Marshall's thrown out 2. Very nice. Oh, there we go. Jeremiah saying 4. If you had fun playing hide and go seek. I don't know. I'd really rather play real hide and go seek. All right, after that game, let's see what our next one is. We're next going to play Snipes on MS-DOS. I have never heard of this one. Let's check out Snipes together. The box is all we have if it's the real box. Did someone send in the box for Snipes, or is this something someone fabricated? But it's pretty much what we're going to be doing. We're going to be running around and shooting stuff. I wouldn't have it any other way. It does look like a homemade one, but most games for the computer boxes look that way. All right, let's pop into play some Snipes. This is by Superset Software Corp, released at sometime in November 1982. This is our 126th game we played for MS-DOS, and this is the first and only game that Superset Software did. It lets you pick your skill level. We're going to do A1, start off right there, and then this is how the game is controlled. So actually, the game just starts right here. It gives us a time, tells us our skill. You can see in the top they're using some ASCII characters. What we're supposed to be doing is we are the searcher. We're prowling the face of a maze, seeking to kill off tens or dozens or hundreds of these little creatures called snipes. Snipes are basically the little smiley ASCII character face. They move into your area of view. They might be waiting around corners or lurking overhead. And so this game is controlled using keyboard control only. So on the keyboard, you have one side of the keyboard that allows you to move your character around. Look at this. He's even got a little animation. And then the other side of the keyboard allows you to fire in different directions, which means this game's unique that I am kind of doing a twin stick shooter, but I'm doing it on the keyboard. I'm not really using a joystick. So I call this a keyboard twin stick because it's meant to be able to move around and shoot. So you can run away and then fire the other direction. You have a diagonal. So it's all keyboard controlled, but it's pretty cool that you are able to move and shoot at the same time, as if you're playing something like Robotron 2084. So this is what makes it unique, the mechanic of shooting. So I'd say this kind of game is a top-down maze game, like an arcade maze game, because you can move around as if you're playing something like Pac-Man, but there's nothing really to pick up. But you're just supposed to be destroying the snipes, which I don't see any right now. Let's go find them. Where are you, snipes? The different game modes, you saw there's a lot. You can pick A through Z and then 1 through 9. You can do all kinds of things to this game. Like you can make the walls ricochet your shots. You can make your shots be able to be controlled. Like you can aim and control where the shot goes like you did in combat. You can also change the amount of snipes that are in the game. What comes at you? We don't see any snipes. But every time you play, it's a little random. Oh, there's a snipe. There they are. Look. There's one. I'll take you out and you. Okay, none of them up there. Let's see if we got any coming down here. Look at that. And I can just keep firing off and moving and then destroy the generator. Look at that. Yeah. Innovative, slightly different, doing something new. What it actually makes me think of is a game we haven't even seen yet, which was Dandy. Or what's later going to be Gauntlet. This is what this game reminds me of. But then I thought about it some more. We've already seen like the origins of Gauntlet already in a few games. Like Tutankhamun had generators, enemy generators like this. And so there's been just a small smattering of games that have been make me think of Gauntlet. And this is just another one. But we're going through this really big maze. It's a multi-directional shooter. And in a way, it reminds me a little bit of Night Stalker or Dark Cavern that we played on the Intellivision. Much bigger scale, though, because you couldn't scroll like this when you played Night Stalker in Dark Cavern. It's even closer, though, to another game we played called Star Maze on the Apple II. Star Maze did what Asteroids has, like the kind of control as Asteroids, but on a larger scale, just like this. It was a very large maze. You were able to move and scroll, but you were essentially flying a ship like asteroids, but this one's doing it where you're kind of like Robotron 2084, but in a much larger area or room with a maze. Here we go. We got some snipes. Take them out. Oh yeah, another good point. Seamus does that, but Seamus didn't have this control scheme where you're able to move and fire at the same time. Congratulations, you actually won. Do you want to play another game? Yes, yes we do. Oh, gotta capitalize it. Yes, enter new skill level. We can do A through Z. Let's try a different one. Let's do C5 and see what C5's like. We're feeling adventurous. Is anything ricochet? I want to make sure I don't get shot. There we go. Looks pretty good. All right, you make your way around and then survive the snipes. Sweet. Yeah, so this control scheme of this, I'm calling it keyboard twin stick because we're able to move and shoot at the same time. But there's only one other game that has this control scheme that we've seen so far on Chronologically Gaming that allows you to move and shoot using keyboard controls, not joystick, because we've seen plenty of twin stick shooters so far, but there's only one other game that allowed you to move and shoot using the keyboard, very similar controls to this one, and it was Pandora's Box on the Apple II. Wasn't very interesting. It was also slower than this. This one's actually a lot faster paced. It also feels kind of empty. I need to up the skill level because you can see at the top left, it's showing us the number of snipes, like how much are being generated. Die. Oh, and we got ones that have arrows that can shoot too. Yep, see, now I changed it up, so now we have some more dangerous snipes coming at us. All this is because of Berserk. Berserk did this first, and then we've seen games that essentially are Berserk and then just adding more and more things to it. Come on. Give me that. Where's that generator? Oh, there's another snipe over here. Kill it. So very, very fun. It feels like something is missing, like it's a small piece of a game that could be better. But obviously, I would be experimenting with all the different difficulties, trying stuff out, and seeing what it's like. Because you can see the idea of this one thing generating. Oh, that's another good point. I saw in the chat, Mark asked if the walls kill you. And yeah, one of the other game options, the walls are electrified just like Berserk. Yikes. Oh, wait, I didn't completely die. Okay, let's go back to that spot and see if we can take him out. So yeah, it is unique because of the control scheme, and I really wish it could be controlled with a joystick, but it's not. Here we go. Ready? No, it was warping us right into the spot of the snipes. There's so many now. There's 38. I don't think we can overcome them. There's too many. I mean, look at that. Look at that shot. All right, let's make our way around this side, and we should be able to get them right here. But it's an interesting idea. Let's make an area that's generating enemies, and then they are just going throughout the maze by themselves. No, almost had it. I only got one life left. Yeah, the firepower of the snipes is intense. When I did my playtest, I didn't try this mode out, so I'm not as familiar with it. The snipes have triumphed. Do you want to play another game? Sure, let's go. Cool. Yes. There we go. And then skill level, let's try something crazier. Let's do Z2. Do we got Ricochet now? Uh-oh, walls. Someone said about the walls. On this game mode, the walls do kill you. Oh, and we got a generator right here. Destroy it. Very nice. So, interesting game. It is, feels like, there's the Ricochet. It feels like a combination of lots of different games we played, and it feels like something we're going to be seeing later, you know, like a test, if you will, of games to come. And another interesting story, if you want to believe what they have posted on Moby Games, is there's a similar story with a game that we're going to see later in 1984 called Sopwith. This game was designed by Superset Software as an application to test one of the very first local area networks that was under contract by CPM Machines for Novell. And so this video game may be, and this is, again, speculation, it might be have been the host for one of the world's very first deathmatch video games and laid the foundation for Novell NetWare. This game may have been that title. I don't have a way to play with other people, but I can totally see it. Can you imagine playing this with other people and fight and doing a death match against them, shooting like this rather than going against snipes. So while I don't necessarily say I believe it or don't believe it, it's a really cool story, and it'd be awesome if this was the very first game that hosted the first death match, or one of the very first death matches ever. Sweet. All right, so there you go. That's a taste of Snipes. Lots of fun. For every game you could play right now on home computers, there's a lot of competition out there, and I'm actually surprised at how well it plays because you have that freedom of movement and shot, and it's unique too. So looking over in the chat, I see some above averages for everything you could play on all home computers, some 3.5s. Ooh, a 4-star from Mark, very nice. James is going as high as 4. Yeah, I'm thinking around 3.5 to 4 for everything you could play up to this point. If it truly is the game that was the very first game that you could play deathmatch on Novell Netware, you know, for a local area network, I'll say 4. That's if it's true, but you have to mess around with a few of the controls to see if it's hosted that way. But because it's a single player experience and because it's a little quirky, I'll say 3.5 for everything up to this point. Most people are saying 3.5 stars for everything else on all other home computers up to this point. Oh yeah, and Jeremiah's saying 4 is more than fair. Yeah, I won't go as high as 4. If it really is though the very first deathmatch, I would have said 4 for sure. All right, that's where we got to put our video game playing on pause. You've made it all the way to the end of the episode. We are still cranking out all the games released at some time in November 1982, which means there's more and more games to come. I appreciate everyone that's here for the live show, and if you're leaving comments down below, we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Next time on Chronologically Gaming, some edutainment as we take on the case of the disappearing dolphin, a space shooter near the sun for the Astrocade, and space games of November 1982 start, taking us to Japanese home computers. That's it for today, and like I always say, we have seen Jax as a video game, Simon Says as a video game, and now Hide and Go Seek as a video game. Where's the rock, paper, scissors video game? Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.